because people will say sometimes to me, they'll be like, oh, so you criticize all the presidents. Who was your favorite president? You don't have one who you give a pass to. And it's like, yeah, they're all war criminals. They're all genocidal maniacs. Why should we set the standards so low? They all get an F. So when Joe Biden was forced to decide to pull out of the election, right? It's because essentially enough people in the Democratic establishment go, he can't win. Like after that debate performance, we don't think he can win.
Yeah, they pulled his money.
But if Joe Biden, and he would have lost, probably worse than Kamala Harris if he had run, probably. But Joe Biden still would have gotten 30-something%, maybe 40% of the voters.
Yeah, I think he probably would have gotten, if I had to guess,
45.
45, yeah.
Right. So even in the worst case scenario, even when the president is a vegetable, there's still like a huge percentage of people who just, they vote Democrat or they vote Republican or so the question, like the action is always in the coalition. So the difference between Donald Trump having like 50% approval ratings as he did a year and a half ago or having 33% approval ratings, well, that's the whole difference. That's the difference between a blowout loss or winning the popular vote in every single swing state. So he's already destroyed that. Now, I'll just say this because I don't know. I guess, and I've been getting in some arguments with some people about this. Yeah, I'm known to. Even with some people close to you,
it's good.
Crystal. But listen, I mean, and look, I have really nothing against Kyle or anything like that. But I do think that, look, it is true. There's always been this criticism of Donald Trump supporters that they're like a cult-like following.
Yeah.
There's no question that there is an element of that with a lot. And then the comment about shooting people on Fifth Avenue, like, yeah, okay. They're essentially, we're running that experiment right now and finding out who will stay by him no matter what. But I do have to say, just my opinion, and maybe I'm not the best guy to sell this message because I did support Donald Trump and vote for him, and I did come on your show before all the others and apologize for that. Even though that is very trendy these days. I was 7 or 8 months ahead of most people on that, but whatever. I can't really brag. I voted for Donald Trump, and now I'm saying that was a mistake.
Sure.
But I'm just saying Barack Obama ran on peace. He ran on ending the wars. He ran on closing Guantanamo Bay. He ran on restoring habeas corpus. He ran on a million things that he just never did. And not only didn't do them, but expanded the worst of the Bush policies, and himself was even worse than George W. Bush. If you look up the civil war that he kicked off in Syria, the toppling of Gaddafi in Libya, backing the Saudis in Yemen, Barack Obama killed like a couple million people, just slaughtered innocent people, destroyed whole countries, and by the way, surged in Afghanistan and then pulled out of Iraq and then reinvaded the country of Iraq. And how many of the most popular pro-Obama people turned on him in the middle of his presidency, said he ought to be impeached and removed? He's maybe even the Antichrist. This guy, not that many, and with Donald Trump, it's been a tsunami. So look, I don't think the move, I mourned the death of the anti-war left for 15 years. I was the anti-war left before I got converted to being a libertarian. It broke my heart that they all disappeared under Obama. And when they all came charging back about Gaza, I was like, let's go. They're back. I don't think we need to sit here and get into these arguments of, but you supported Biden and therefore the genocide is all your responsibility or something like that. Look, man, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris deserve to lose 1,000 times. They deserve to lose 1,000 deaths and be launched to the moon and never allowed back on Earth for funding the genocide in Gaza for their whole last year of their administration. Just totally unforgivable. And Donald Trump deserves the same for all of this. So I think at this point, we're in a really dangerous situation. This war could really spin out of control very easily. And we've never really been in a situation before where there's a war launched and the propaganda apparatus is non-existent. They cannot sell the American people for this. This is why Mark Levin is openly talking about how we got to bring tech censorship back.
I know. Yeah.
These guys know they got to shut all of us down. So instead of us sitting here quibbling with each other over who in a forced binary decided this candidate versus that candidate and for what reasons, I think we should just all be opposing this as loud as possible.